Hi everyone, welcome to MCOM 201, which is Introduction to Mass Communication. My name is Kristen Ruppert-Leach and I'm your professor for the course. And this orientation video is meant to give you some information and walk you through how the course is set up so that you'll be successful throughout the semester that we are with each other. So if you take a look, this is your home screen. Essentially, this home button here is what you're seeing. So any announcements that are received will come straight through here. They also go directly to your student email account. So it would be worthwhile to either be actively checking that or to make it sync up, I couldn't come up with the right word, sync up with your other email address that you do check regularly. So that's a recommendation for you if there's any changes to the course, any additional communication that'll come through there. Also on this left side is the syllabus button. And when you click on that, you're going to see a couple of things. Obviously, this is where you found your orientation. But in addition to that, there is also a syllabus and a course schedule. So let's open up that syllabus and kind of see what we have going on here. So this syllabus gives you sort of a rundown of everything to expect for the term. Let me screen this down a bit. So this is sort of what it looks like. It gives you my contact information, where you can get a hold of me, where you can come to my office hours, as well as an email address that is probably the best way to get a hold of me. Then it gives you a course description. So this is a class that looks at mass media as a whole, including a lot of different forms of media, newspapers, magazines, radio, television, advertising, public relations, and much more. So this is kind of a big overview of the world of mass communication, which has changed significantly in just the last 5 to 10 years. The objectives are listed here for you, kind of letting you know what you will be able to do by the time the semester is over, as well as the textbook. The textbook that you're using is the Hansen book, Mass Communication, Living in a Media World. ISBN number is here for you. You can either get the hard copy or you can get a ebook, and that ebook is typically, I think most of the options are interactive, so you can search things, you can participate in polls and stuff like that using the ebook. But it's up to you. Either one is doable. My recommendation would be to get the ebook just because it's a little bit easier to tote around and it's a little bit easier to navigate. But I also have the hard copy and I like to mark things up and take notes and highlight things. So that's completely your call, whatever you're most comfortable with. Grades are going to be based on quizzes, discussion, participation, and assignments. So we're going to do a traditional grading scale that's 90 to 100 is an A and so on. And the entirety of the course exists with 13 discussion forums. And I'm going to explain because I do discussions very differently than what you may have done in the past. 13 chapter quizzes, usually 20 to 24 questions, multiple choice and true false. 13 video reflections, again, done a little differently than what you may be expecting. And then a midterm and a final. And that is the sum of your course for this semester in terms of assignments. So there's essentially 800 points in the class, and that's how it's determined based on all of these assignments right here. The next thing to kind of make note of is the attendance/withdrawal policy. So this is an online class. That makes things a little different. Obviously, you're not physically coming to class. And I'm not going to monitor how many clicks you put for various topics. What I am going to do is follow my own personal withdrawal policy. And what that is there are 2 points prior to mid-ish semester in which I can withdraw a student without it being a big ordeal. Now, I can still withdraw at any point, but those are the 2 times I've chosen to do the withdrawals. And that is usually sometime around weeks 2 or 3, and then again around weeks somewhere between 7 to 9. Just depends, usually around 8 to 9 weeks. What I do is if you fail to log in 7 days in a row, or you fail to submit at least 2 assignments in a row, then the most recent ones especially, then you will be withdrawn from the class. So you don't want to miss 2 assignments in a row, and you don't want to just ignore the course for weeks at a time. Those are the 2 rules, essentially. There are no other requirements aside from just completing the work. If you complete the work, it is impossible for you to miss multiple assignments in a row, and it is impossible for you not to log in within a week. So, pretty straightforward. After midterm, it's up to you whether you want to be withdrawn or not. So if you would like to be withdrawn, you have to submit to me an email saying, please withdraw me from the course. Or more than likely, the best choice would be for you to actually go withdraw yourself from the course. The other option I take is if you stop submitting work, if you stop showing up, quote, showing up to class after midterm, you just get the grade you get. So I don't accept late work. So you would end up getting probably an F if you stopped showing up. So that's sort of how it all works. There's additional material here. Take a chance, get any opportunity you have to sort of look through this. I'm going to show you the course schedule in a second, but take your time, take a look at it, and see what you are interested in. Now, additionally, on here in the syllabus section, we also have a course schedule. So you'll notice a trend here. Our course schedule looks identical every week. This is real easy to follow. Shouldn't be very difficult, and I'll go over a sample week here in a second. But essentially, each week is a chapter. You read the chapter and you participate in these 3 things, and they're all very similar throughout the week. Now, during October 7th through 13th, that is our midterm, so you will have no required assignments except for the midterm. Then we start back up with our chapters again in week 9 all the way through week 14, and then you have nothing during Thanksgiving break. I give you the whole time off. And then for coming back from Thanksgiving break, you will have your final exam, and then you're done. So it's pretty straightforward, nothing outrageous. Let me sort of show you a little bit, before we get into that, let me show you a little bit about myself so that you can reach out to me as needed. So like I said, my name is Kristen Ruppert-Leach. Please either call me Professor K, Dr. K, or Kristen. Don't worry about trying to get my whole last name right. That's not a big deal. I am an associate professor of communication arts. Specifically, I teach mostly public speaking and interpersonal, but I also teach, as you're noticing, MCOM courses. I have a background in mass communication, speech communication, and education. I also chair the Department of Languages, so foreign languages, philosophy, and communication arts. So if you have any questions or concerns about courses in any of those areas, I would be the person you would talk to after speaking with your instructor. My office is in the Liberal Arts Building. It's room 2350, and the faculty office is on the 2nd floor, sort of diagonal from Starbucks. And then this is the phone number you can reach me at, which is also on your syllabus. There's a little mugshot of me. A bit more about me. Like I said, I have a bachelor's degree or background in mass communication. I have a master's in speech communication and a doctorate in education, specifically online education, student emotions, and course design. On a personal note, I have 2 kids and a wonderful husband. I have a little group of dogs here. We've got our 3 adults who are also parents. So we have a very, very, very small breeding family, only because our dogs have brought such joy to people's lives. So we do a little small breeding family. In addition to that, you can check out my office hours, which change every semester. So take a look at it and sort of see what's going on for that particular semester. And let's take a look at the course content so you can kind of see how each one works. So when you click on course content, you're going to see a number of weeks all laid out here. Week by week, I give you the date and then the topic and chapter for that week. So for example, when you click on week 1, you're going to see a couple of things. First, a list of what you want to do for that week. So in week 1, for example, you want to read chapter 1, participate in the week 1 discussion, take the chapter 1 quiz, and complete chapter 1 video reflection. So it may seem like a lot to some folks, but it's actually not too bad. So let me explain what I mean by that. Chapter 1, that's all the reading you have to do for the week. And then each week is the same. So you have a single chapter to read. Chapter 1 discussion forum. So let me explain what I do with discussion forums. I'm not a huge fan of making discussion forums these highly intense academic forums. The reason for that is I want them to mimic as closely as possible a discussion we would have in a brick and mortar face-to-face classroom. So with that, I'm not grading you on every single little detail that you put in there. Think of this as texting or chatting back and forth between two folks, or in this case, the entire class. And try to keep that in mind when you do these assignments. I don't want single word responses. I don't want you to say, oh, this was interesting or it was miserable, but you do want to be relaxed. Think of it as an informal experience. So for example, in chapter 1, it looks like a lot, but I'm asking you to go dark for a short period of time. When I say go dark, I mean try not to use a device of any sort for a set period of time. And I've put between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. because it shouldn't be overnight when you're sleeping, but it should be at least a small portion of time. And if you can't do that full amount, that's okay. If you can only do 3 hours because you have to work or something and you can't be away from technology for that time, you can do that. But I want you just to do that. And then once you've done it, kind of use some of these questions that are listed here as prompts as to, you don't have to answer every question, but just use them as prompts to talk about that experience. So essentially, you're just having an online chat about whatever topic I'm bringing up. So it should be more informal. It should be more of a relaxed discussion. You either participate fully in the discussion or you don't. And when I say participate fully, I mean that you are active. So you post your initial post, basically your response to the question, early enough that people can respond back to you. So you don't wait until Sunday to post your initial post. That will get you a deduction in points. But if you post prior to that, you're probably okay. So you post early enough, you respond to, 3 or 4 other people at least. There's no specific way you need to respond. The only thing I ask is that you don't say good post or I agree or whatever it might be. You want to have some depth to your response. And also to reply back to people that respond to you. So if you can. Now, occasionally people will respond to your post on Sunday at 8 and you are already taking your kids to bed and getting ready for bed yourself and it's not as feasible. That's fine. Just as much as you can. If you can post a response, great. If you can't, okay, it's not the end of the world. I just want you to be active. And all of the posts, all of the discussions are interesting. They're not just, what about this theory and how do you apply it? No, it's actually just thought-provoking discussion topics, sometimes highly controversial discussion topics. So be prepared for that. I'll have to monitor the post very carefully, but definitely think about how you are engaging in these discussions. The next thing on here is the chapter quiz. Each chapter has a quiz, true, false, and multiple choice, somewhere between 20 and 25 questions, depending upon the chapter. And you have an hour to take it. So just sit down, get your book out or your ebook up and loaded, and take the test. You do not, it's a quiz. You do not have to, not use your notes or anything. You can use whatever you want. That's not a problem. But you do only have an hour, so keep that in mind. As far as the video reflections go, each week I'm going to give you a video to watch. Sometimes they're really, really short. Sometimes they're a little longer. So they can range anywhere from 3 minutes to 25 minutes. It just depends on the video. But I'm going to ask you to watch the video and write, again, an informal reflection. an informal reflection, 1 to 2 paragraphs. So this is just from you to me. All you have to do is watch the video and go, what did I get from that video? And down here, I give you sort of a brief discussion of what a reflection is. So it's a mental process. It's contemplation or consideration. Essentially, you're asking yourself, what did I learn? How did I learn it? And how do I feel about this information? And what can I do now that I know about this? So essentially, those are the questions you're asking. Watch the video in a Word document or straight in the text box, type up your responses, edit for just basics, but you don't have to use in-text citations or anything like that. It's very informal. So each week looks like that. You have those 3 things that are required for grades, and then you are done for that week until you get to the midterm, and that one is only a midterm when you get to that point. So that's what this course looks like. You've got all of your accessible information here. There's some textbook info if you need to find where you can purchase it or the ebook version. There's other resources that you can use. Obviously, you can use Amazon and so on, but these are the easiest, I would say, to get the right thing. There's also access to Blackboard help and other student resources for the textbook. So there's like flashcards and things like that, which is great. So take your time, take a look at the course, and then join me in the first discussion board, and we will chat about going dark. Thanks, guys, and have a great semester. Best of luck to you.